Hello everyone, it is July 13th, a Tuesday, 2021. Here in the market, we had three nice setups that I just failed to pull the trigger on. That's on me. This is a very nice lesson, and it's for me to learn. I, spent a couple hours finding these setups. They were pretty golden, and did not pull the trigger on it. So that's what happens when you hesitate, and yeah, it's a good psychological lesson for me to learn for sure. But let's get right into the trades. So the first setup I had was on snow. Let's go to a higher time frame analysis. So snow has been trending up for the past couple months after selling off quite a bit, and now we're making a comeback. We went over this 240 resistance to 250, and now just struggling at this 270 area. But we were setting up for a beautiful daily RBNR here, as you can see, rally-based rally. Failed as of now, but was a super clean setup in the morning. And the level that I liked was 269. It actually just happened to be right above, right below this basin candle, which is what we love to see. And I got that level just because, as you can see, in the past, in January and December, we kind of touched on it. This 269 level, not the most perfect level, but nonetheless, as you can see, it's 270, 269. Just the general area was a nice place for resistance, and I saw that we were doing well. Another thing that I saw was this downtrend line, but that we kind of broke out of it, so obviously bullish sentiment. But now we're all the way up here, so let's get back into intraday time frame. Actually, before I do that, I just want to explain NQ because snow is somewhat of a tech stock, and I'll just explain the overall market sentiment as I always do before I start my trading days. All right, so NQ sold off a bit here, and I kind of found somewhat of some support right here, and then as we were entering the trading day, we were making a nice V-shaped recovery here. So this was beautiful. And yeah, and I knew that snow was relatively strong. As you can see that we had a big upper wick, a red candle here, and then as you can see that snow had nice green candles, which is what we love to see in terms of relative strength. So I knew that we were strong right off the bat. I wasn't too worried about NQ selling off or struggling, just because we didn't really have many zones. We did have supply overhead, but pretty far from where we were. All right, so let's get right into it. My favorite technique is the rocket ship technique. And this was beautiful. What I mean by this, I explained it in my previous video, but I'll just explain it again. My rocket ship technique is where I like to see sort of a nice little push. I would have liked to see this a little bit stronger, which is why I maybe hesitated just a tad. But it still showed some relative strength, was not a huge fan of this wick, but as you can see that this 935 candle really started picking up some volume here. And on a 5-minute, this rocket ship looks like a nice push up, and then institutions will come back down, swoop more orders, and then as soon as we sort of see this bottoming wick here, we kind of gain momentum. It's sort of gaining fuel for the rocket ship up, and that's exactly what happened here. We had a little bit of trouble here at 269, initially 270, 269.5 area. But then we came down, and the rocket ship said, "Hold on, before we take off, we got to get more orders here." And this is exactly what happened. We fueled a nice move up to 275. So that was a $6 move, which was pretty impressive. And the contracts went up to almost over 100%. At least the contracts that I would have been playing. So I literally just watched this go by. It was pretty frustrating. And yeah, I'll just show you what that is on a 1-minute chart real quick, just because I'm also getting used to just observing the volume on a 1-minute chart as well. So rocket ship technique on the 1-minute. So here we are, we're making this push up, kind of getting struggled here. And then what happened was we came back down here to 267.35, and then we started gaining volume. So as soon as we see this nice, beautiful candle here break this 269 level, I immediately would have entered, which is exactly where I would have entered. And this is exactly the reason why I'm not too comfortable playing the 5-minute open, is because most likely, given my experience to this day, I probably would have been shaken out. Honestly, I'm just gonna speak honestly here, and maybe I would have been shaken out here. Premiums would have been cut. That's a nice, almost $2 move. So pretty scary, but That's kind of why I don't play, or I'm not comfortable playing the 5-minute open just yet. But yeah, and then we kind of came up here. We gained a huge amount of volume, so maybe scale one off here. It's a $2 move. Maybe would have scaled one here. And then my stop loss would have been moved to a candle close below 269, or possibly even break even. But if I'm holding here, again, this 269 level was beautiful. Gain more orders here and fuel the rocket ship even higher. So as you can kind of see, the rocket ship analogy really paid off here, especially on a 1-minute chart. And a 5-minute chart, it's even clearer to see here. I'll explain it one more time before I move on to the next setup. We have a nice push up here, a dip kind of down, gathering more orders, and then a nice push up to up to 275. Obviously, no one's ever going to be perfect and catch, 275 to the penny, so it would have been nice to scale out on the way up, which is exactly what would have happened, and it would have been a very nice day already. But yeah, so that was that setup. I would have taken it as soon as we broke this 269 level on the next 5-minute candle. Again, we were showing relative strength, 269, a daily RBNR right above this level. Actually, this is exactly where it got rejected from yesterday's high. And then that was, an A+ setup in my book. Beautiful, beautiful trade. I just hesitated, and that's what happens. You miss out on profit. But a good lesson for me to learn. The next setup was Microsoft. And Microsoft was another extremely nice trade with another kind of rocket ship technique here, which was beautiful. And I just, again, hesitated. I was clearly not in the right headspace for it. So on a higher time frame, Microsoft has been making higher lows. It's been looking beautiful, kind of making this little flaggish pattern here. The levels I was looking at was a break above this flag, this pennant looking thing. It's only been touched about 2 times, so not the strongest, but again, it's decent enough. And this 279.37 level I was also looking at, somewhere around there, 279.3. Would have been a good, double confirmation here. Break of the trend line, nice resistance here. And then the more sort of safer entry was, around 280.5 or just before it. So super nice chart. And Microsoft does, weigh heavily in the indexes ES and NQ. So was paying attention to those a little bit more carefully. But Microsoft was sort of the leading stock of the day today. So I wasn't, too concerned there either. We literally just went straight up for the first 30 minutes of the market, which was super alarming. I was like, okay, we got to pull back here at some point, right? But we kind of just never did. And it went all the way up to make a new, all-time high at 282.85, which is absolutely insane. We really, didn't consolidate besides here a little bit of pullback here as well. And then we kind of just shot up for 2 hours, which is kind of insane. You're not going to see that every day. Okay, but anyway, the entry that I was looking at that should have been played here was, the break of this 279.3 area, a double confirmation here with increasing volume. So I should have gotten in here. I didn't, and it would have been back-to-back insane trades actually, but I was looking at snow at the time. So I said, okay, not the best, but then, snow kind of finished up, and here's another rocket ship technique here. As you can see, we made a nice push through this 279.3 level, and the level I was really targeting was 280.5, and then all-time highs, of course. And we, this would have been the proper entry here, right there. And we have the rocket ship up here, and we kind of came back, gathered a little bit more orders here, and then made another strong push up. And I kind of look for this rocket ship kind of flag technique near my levels. And the 1 minute, you can even see it a little bit more clearer. Kind of made a cool looking flag here. We made this nice push up, and we had some nice VVM here. And this is kind of like the flag pattern here. I'll just draw it out. Some immediate resistance here. So as soon as it, broke above this little area, I should have taken it because we had increasing volume right here. And that's when the proper, time to take it would have been if I missed out on this entry. Yeah, so that would have been nice. Stop loss would have been a candle close below this 279.3 area. If I took it above here, it probably would have been, this would have been a little bit hesitant, but again, I would have waited for a 5-minute candle close, not a 1 minute, a 5-minute candle close, because 1 minute gets too noisy. I just look for VVM on a 1 minute. So this break here would have been a beautiful, entry. Let's say would have gotten in around here, targeting all-time high. Maybe scaled one at 280.5. Not the best risk reward, but definitely would have scaled one out around 281, which was my final-ish target. So that was another beautiful trade that I just hesitated on. I would have entered. It provided two very, very, very good entries here, as you can see the two arrows indicated here. And that would have been a beautiful trade. We had nice VVM, nice relative strength. We were holding on a single red candle, and you can see increasing volume down below. Right here, just like that. Okay, so that was Microsoft. Hopefully you're getting the hang of it now. And then Amazon was my final play that I hesitated on, and I was just like, all right, I'm done. I got super frustrated, and before I revenge trade, I'm getting out of here. The level I was looking at was 3751.9. Let's look at a higher time frame analysis. You can kind of see that Amazon has been consolidating near the highs, near the all-time highs, excuse me, which is extremely, extremely bullish. This is super nice. It was holding value above 3,700, which is what we love to see. And it was making higher lows, higher lows here. Today it's, we're having a little bit of a red day, a little bit of a, upside down V recovery, if that makes any sense. But nonetheless, let's get into the trade. So that level I got, as you can see, was right here. We had quite a bit of resistance coming up to it. It was just the general area. Again, these levels aren't exact. They're just a general area. So everything was pretty strong in the morning. We were making a V-shaped recovery. And this is where my entry would have been. My entry would have been right around here, right as we kind of broke this, and right as we were sort of gaining volume up towards this level. And I can show you on a 1 minute that it could have been a nice flag break pattern. So again, 1 minute is good for identifying flag breaks or VVM. So honestly, any any minute here would have been beautiful. This was beautiful. This showed VVM here. The candle sort of picking up, no selling pressure whatsoever. We kind of stumbled a little bit at the level, which was beautiful, and then we kind of took off. And contracts went about 30%, which was a beautiful move. The contract I was looking at went from $12 to over $15 in literally 3-4 minutes, which was amazing. Here was another RB&R out of the flag. This is kind of a weird looking rocket ship, so I'm not going to count it as a rocket ship technique that I like. But this is a 1 minute RB&R here. Could have taken it here for a little bit of risk with a stop below this pattern. Given my account size, it would have been a great risk to reward. And yeah, we were kind of dead with volume here, but then we kind of picked it up right at this 10-15 candle, and as you can see that we even had no selling pressure here on the 10-13 and 10-14 candles. And let's just see what that looks like on a 5 minute. So on a 5 minute candle, it literally looks like that. This lower wick was huge. It should have indicated, all right, we're getting some VVM coming in here. And as soon as we broke sort of this high of day, really don't like playing high day breaks, but given the situation, it would have been nice given how close we were to this level. And I always stress getting in before the level rather than breaking the level, even though it's not the worst, because premiums tend to spike after these levels and high of day especially as well. And we really want to sort of slingshot ourselves once we sort of break right through this level, given that we have VVM in our direction. So this, would have been a beautiful trade. Probably would have gotten out right about, here, which was probably a smart move. But again, I hesitated. I did not make any money today, which was super frustrating. The next setup that I'm really loving is Snap. I'll just go over that real quick. It looks like we sold off a bit, but the play would have been of 65.9. It's a super key level here, and I think we could see all the way up to 67. So nice dollar move that I'm waiting for, but Snap kind of sold off, so looks like it's going to take a little bit more time to develop. And that was it. So those are the setups that I like today. Those are the setups I hesitated on. Definitely a good lesson for me to learn. Maybe I should decrease my size or something along those lines, but it's it's kind of just something that I have to remind myself, something that I have to improve on, is really pulling the trigger I really have to trust my analysis more because it would have been a very nice payday on my end and something that I'm working on. But nonetheless, super happy that my analysis is, nearly spot on and nearly perfect. So, not perfect because no one's perfect, but you guys get the idea. So super happy with that progress. Now it's just a mind game, and that's all it is. So perfect the mind and perfect your strategy, and you'll live a pretty good life. All right, guys, let me know if you guys have any questions, and thank you so much for watching.